My name's Max Finannce. I'm the Education and Training Manager here at Sixpoint, and some days I really have to earn my paycheck, and today is one of those days. I'm honored and excited to be joined by Mike Kurtz from Mike's Hot Honey, and today we're going to be drinking some of our favorite beers, eating some of our favorite pizzas, and talking about why the two go really, really perfectly together.
Mike's Hot Honey is a chili pepper infused honey. We've been in business since 2010. And I started the company out of a pizzeria where I used to work making pizzas and tending bar. It's called Pauly G's, it's in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. I started out just drizzling it on pizzas. The first bottles were actually sold off of the bar at Pauly G's. Originally I was just making everything myself in the back of the pizzeria, personally bottling, distributing. You know, it got to a point where I had a lot of folks coming to the bar who would taste it, and they were like, wow, you know, we'd love to buy this, and there was no place to really get it besides the pizzeria. Over many beers, coincidentally, which happened to be the Sixpoint Bengali Tiger IPA, which was probably the most popular beer that I poured while I was tending bar there. People convinced me that I should really scale up production and start distributing it on a larger scale. So today we work with restaurants and retailers all over the country, work with lots of pizzerias, and as everybody knows, pizza and beer, one of the most magical pairings in the world.
I feel like you can't walk into a pizza place or a grocery store without seeing Mike's Hot Honey these days, and it's really awesome to hear how it's come up and to hear that Bengali was there from the beginning. That's super cool. One of the things that I always like to say when we start talking about beer and food pairing is, the first rule for me is always to match that intensity.
Yeah.
So if we're starting with a slice of cheese pizza, I think the natural pairing there is to go with crisp. We're not going to overpower the slice with the beer. We're not going to overpower the beer with the slice. As we move into some more aggressive, interesting, complex pizza slices, we'll move it up in terms of the complexity and the intensity of the beer too. Let's get started on these slices.
It's my specialty.
Cheers.
Cheers. So this is a plain cheese slice from Scarr's Pizza on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. It's one of my favorite slices, and I think one of the best representations of a pure New York slice. So with the honey, I like to do a little zigzag drizzle. There's no wrong way to drizzle, but
just like there's no wrong way to drink a beer.
I like to get a little bit on the plate.
I'll let you do mine too.
Oh, okay. You don't want to drown
look
the
at that.
slice.
That looks phenomenal.
But, I mean, I'm an artiste, so.
It's not his first time doing this.
It's not my first drizzle.
Right.
But yeah, I like a little extra on the plate so you got a little something to dip your crust in. I like to do a half crimp right here.
I think I'm more of a full crimp. Is that a half crimp?
I'd say it's a half crimp.
All right.
Yeah. Notice no tip sag on the slice. Nice and crispy on the bottom.
Man, that is really, really good. That hot honey adds something to that slice there.
With the honey, you taste the sweetness and the floral notes of the honey, and then the heat hits you kind of like on the tail end, and it mixes with the savory notes of the cheese and the sauce, and it was just a magical thing.
Yeah. And, this is a really nice pairing for the crisp. Whenever I'm talking about pizza and beer together, I like to think about there's a couple things that make beer really good for pizza, right? We have the high carbonation, so that cuts through that fattiness. It makes it, refreshes your palate, makes you ready for another bite of that pie. But then also, with this one, you get those bready notes that are going to combine with the crust. You get the floral notes from the hops combining with the floral notes from your honey. I think this is firing on all cylinders.
I mean, it's hard to go wrong with great pizza and great beer.